Hello. Would you like to come in? There's free candy. Give me a minute, I'll put some clothes on and I'll give you a tour. Alright, so this is my 2003 Dodge Sprinter. It's got the 2.7 liter Mercedes diesel in it. So I'm going to take you inside and show you everything real quick, but real quick, just want to say there are many different ways that you can build out a Sprinter van. It's become super trendy. It's like all over Pinterest and shit like that. If you think that your way might have been better, that's fine. I've already built the van out. I don't need to know whether or not you think it's the right way or the wrong way. So I'm just going to show you the van, and this is the way that I decided to do it. This is the layout that works best for me, and these are the choices that I made in decorating it and making it my own. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so first when you come in the entryway, I have this here. This is going to be the sink. I built this over the actual entry. It still gives you plenty of room to enter in. Then I have this open face closet here. So up here I have a dowel rod. This is just birch plywood here that I faced with veneer, and then I have this floating shelf for shoes, and then underneath here my boots fit, and then my clothes my coats and jackets and shirts will hang up here. Down here inside this compartment I've got a bunch of shit, but I also have my Goal Zero solar generator, and then the way I have it wired in is I have into the 12-volt plug, I have a 12-volt bus bar, and wired into that bus bar are things like the lights. I've got this rear light back, or this exterior light out here, and a few other things. I've got a water pump that I can put in the future, which I don't have in right now. I won't use that for a little while. But with the Goal Zero, I also have this 12-gauge wire wired into a 3-prong grounded outlet, and I have that wired into 3 different outlet receptacles in the van, and I can turn that on and turn it off, and this runs 2 Goal Zero Boulder 30s that are mounted on the roof. And then a couple of other things about the solar generator. I have an exterior receptacle that I can run an extension cord through directly into this compartment and plug this generator directly into someone's house, and that way I can charge it that way. And I also have an adapter that allows me to plug it directly into the cigarette lighter on my van, so that at night while I'm driving I can be drawing charge off the alternator. So that pretty much covers everything in there. I also have 2 propane lines that run in through this compartment. One propane line will be used for a heater, and then the other propane line will run up to the kitchen counter, and that'll be what I use for my Camp Chef propane stove. And then this used to be a DHL delivery van, so this used to be like a silver metal door. It was loud and it clanked. Now I replaced it. I used the same brackets. I just removed the rivets, and I cut this sheet of glued stain panel directly to the size of what the metal door used to be, and I used the same hardware. A lot of people ask me why I decided to keep this and why I didn't want to swivel the seat. Well, my van's huge. I don't need to have an extra seat to swivel the seat. Also, that would require removing this whole wall, which would have been a huge process. But I've been living in the back of my pickup truck for 3 years, and it's been robbed, and my house has been robbed. I had a house in Dallas for like a couple months, and it got robbed. And so having a sense of security was really important for me. So with this door closed, there are no windows and no access to this unless someone premeditates beating down this door. So they can break into this area. The only way to get in through here is if you have a key to the car. So there is actually a key slot on the other side of this door, and I can, if I'm in there and this door closes, I can just turn that and get back in here. So I like the sense of security. I like being able to just close this door and no one knows that there's anybody in here. That was important to me. So incognito was a big deal. So I refaced this. This used to be like blue, like crappy, and I refaced it in birch plywood and stain. I chose espresso stain for pretty much everything in the van. I wanted to make it unicolor because I didn't want to keep having to buy different stains, and once you stain something, like, that's just it. It's not like I can go back and change the stain color. So just having one color was good for uniformity and also just for like the ease of the build. A lot of people have told me that they think it's too dark, but in actuality, it's not as dark as it looks in all the Facebook pictures and probably this video. Everybody who has seen it in person that's come over and looked at it has complimented that they like the darker wood. So, yeah. One other thing about the entryway is there is this rail here. This rail runs into the interior. I cut the wood around it for this track. And I'm actually going to put grip tape on it, and then I'll have a pull-up bar for training purposes. And then I also put a little bit of JB Weld inside this rain gutter. And now I have a crimp rail. So those were two things that were important to me. So we can come on in. Okay, so this is the main setup. Obviously I have the bed back here. This is just 4 inches shy of being the same width as a double bed. It sleeps 2 comfortably. I'm 6 foot tall, so I have plenty of space, which is nice because I was living in my Ford F-150 and the bed was 5.5 feet long, so I had to sleep diagonally, and so 3 years of that was rough. So it's nice to have a full-size bed. I'm not 100% done. There are things I'm going to do as I keep moving forward, but I'm in South Alabama and I need to get back out west and get working. So I'm cutting it off here and I'll pick it back up when I get up there. This will be a sink. So I'll have a 12-inch round stainless steel sink. I have a small hand pump faucet. And that hand pump faucet, you just grab it and you pump it like this. And it sucks water out of one tank, spits it into the sink, and that will drop into another tank. So if you look in here, I framed this specifically for these green 7.5 gallon tanks. So this will be my freshwater tank. Right next to it I'll have a gray water tank. So I can just open this, pull it out, go and fill it up. So other people have asked me, why didn't you set it up so that you could just fill it from the outside with a hose? Well, because when you're traveling and you're in state parks, or you need to take it into someone's house, or take it up, there's no hose, stuff like that, it's just easier to be able to remove it. So I framed this door wide so that I could just grab my tank, take it out, fill it up. The gray water, I can dump that in gutters, I can dump it out in the trees, whatever, as long as it doesn't have a bunch of junk in it, but it's just gray water, dishwater, stuff like that. So that's rigged up for that. And then over here is kind of the kitchen area. So I'm just going to talk about the electric real quick. Up here I have the light switch panel. So one switch operates 5 LED lights on the ceiling. And then this switch, which I never could figure out why it is upside down. I've tried flipping the wires and everything. This one's right, this one's wrong. This operates a 4 LED floodlight I have mounted above the sliding door. This receptacle here is dual USB and a cigarette lighter plug. This is actually wired into the car battery, so this is on all the time. It works the exact same as your car cigarette lighter would. I put this in back here because if for some reason my solar battery I just don't have a charge on it, but I want to have my phone back here in the van, in the back of the van to plug in, I can plug into this. It's just kind of like an auxiliary power source that's always available no matter what. And then you'll see here, these are the AC outlets. So these are running sine wave AC power from the Goal Zero generator. And these wire off of that 12 gauge wire that's plugged into there. And I have 3 of these. I have one here, I have one back by the bed, and I have one in the storage. Up here I have a floating shelf with a rail. This will be kind of like the open-faced pantry. So I'll probably have boxed foods, canned foods, probably some veggies, fruits and veggies on one side. And then here I have this little deep pocket compartment. So I just had some scrap wood and this was kind of a dead space. My crash pads slide into this compartment to about here, and I can put stuff standing up underneath there, but this space was always going to be kind of unused. So rather than have it be dead space, I just built this in. I'll put a little rope across it, keep shit from coming out, but I can put cereal boxes in there, stuff like that, and I can just pull them directly out, and I have my kitchen counter. Underneath here, I just have 2 battery-operated cabinet lights. Just kind of helps light up my cook surface. So here I'll have my Camp Chef dual burner propane stove, and I'll have a propane line that comes through the countertop right here. And then that propane line will just sit there and be plugged directly in permanently. So my stove will always have propane. I haven't finished the propane because I'm going to let a professional LP guy run a test on all of my stuff. So I'll hook it all up and then have an LP guy come and test everything because I don't want to have propane links. But in case I do have propane link, I did install right here. I have a propane and I have a carbon monoxide alarm. So I put this here because the propane enters in through this cabinet. So if there was a leak, this would be probably the immediate spot. And yes, I do have a smoke alarm. This is a battery operated 10-year smoke alarm. And so I put that in. It's not really necessary. It'll probably go off when I'm sitting around campfires and shit like that. But it is nice because I did run the electric. And if I was asleep and something was burning, that would let me know it was bad. We'll keep moving back. This is a MaxxAir Max fan. It has a new standard swivel mount, so I can swivel it open. And then it has 4 speeds. So this is open, and then I can just turn it on right here at the fan. And it has settings 1 through 4. It's got a lot of suction to it. Right now it's drawing 15 watts of power, but on setting 2 it only draws 5, and it has a good suction, so I pretty much just all-time setting 2. And talk about the wood for a little bit. So this is 1/4-inch beadboard that I stained, and it's 2 coats of polyurethane on everything. So you'll notice, like right here on this spot, there is a long, about 6-inch beam that was part of the vehicle, part of the van. So I sheet metaled into that. I use these fender washers. I think it looks attractive, and it holds in really well here. In the middle, I ran a fairing strip. So there's a 1x6 that runs down the middle length. That's wood screwed in, and then it's sheet metal screwed again at the bottom. And then I hid the seam at the curve of the van with this 1x6 trim piece. And then we have the ceiling. Ceiling's the same way. I have a fairing strip running down the middle. It's wood screwed in, and it's sheet metal screwed at the sides. And I did my best to try to hide the sheet metal screws with this trim piece. And then talk about the eating area really quick. So I just have this. It's more of a one-person bench, so I gave myself plenty of room. You can fit 2 people here, but it's nice if one's left-handed and one's right-handed. And then I wanted a kitchen table. I wanted to have a spot that I could sit and eat, and I also do a lot of writing, and so I wanted to be able to sit and write. So in order to save space, I built in this pull-out table. So this is 60 inches long, and I've built cantilever stops inside. So this pulls out to about right here. So I can actually have people sitting here. You can bring in foldable chairs and sit here, or a stool, or the cooler or whatever, and then someone can sit on the end. So I can essentially comfortably sit 4 people at this table and eat. And that just slides back away. I gotta put a little lock on this to keep it from slamming into that door when I hit the brakes. Underneath here is the cooler compartment. This is framed specifically for the Yeti Tundra 50. I do not own one of those yet, but I know that that's the one that I want, so I framed it out, and then once I, have enough disposable income to buy one of those expensive coolers, I'll have one. Until then, I'll just keep running my Walmart Coleman and a shitload of ice. And then underneath this, let me touch on this. So I wanted a cushion, so after I bought this bed mattress is just a queen size 4-inch memory foam from Walmart with a 1.5-inch topper on it, firm topper. So I used the extra foam, and I asked my mom to make me a slip cover for a seat cushion. So I just gave her the dimensions. So this is just leftover foam from the inside of the bed, and then I picked out this fabric, and it's like hawks and mountains, which is pretty comical. And then underneath that is a storage compartment as well. If you look in there, there's wires. Those wires are rough wires for a future water pump. So it's wired in directly to the solar compartment. And if I ever wanted to have a water pump, like an electric water pump, then I have the wires to do so. Right now I'm just going to do the hand pump because I think that works just fine. So anyway, this is kind of the sleeping area, obviously. But I wanted a place to store all my clothes. I will be living in this full time for probably, at the very least, 5 years. And so I have a cabinet here. This cabinet It has 2 shelves, pretty basic. I didn't finish the inside of the cabinets because I don't see the point. I'm just gonna fill it full of clothes anyway. And then I'll probably put a mirror right here so that I can try to tame these luscious locks I got. Then I have this built-in shelf back here. I have a lot of guidebooks for climbing. I like to read. I read every night. So I wanted to have a place that I could put my books, and I wanted to have a place that I could put like my phone and stuff while I'm sleeping, so it's not just on my bed. So I'm pretty stoked on this bookshelf. I'm excited to have my books with me. Previously in the truck, they were just in a backpack, and I would have to like dig through this backpack all the time to get to my books. And that was really frustrating. And then I have an outlet wired in back here so that I can plug my phone in at night when I go to sleep and have it sitting up here. Then I have these 2 cabinets up here. Once again, they're unfinished, but they have a floor, and this is where my shirts, shorts, stuff like that will go. This will probably be where my pants are. And yeah, like I said, I like to read every night, so I took that into account and installed this flexible light. So the idea behind this is that it's push button on, push button off. I just did that backwards. But I can shut those lights off and have this on. I can be back here reading, and then when I'm ready to go to bed, I can shut this off, and now all the lights are off. I don't have to get up and go turn that off or anything like that. So I'm pretty proud of this. I actually had a guy the other day ask me if this was the shower. No, it is not the shower. It is a light. So anyway, we'll step back here really quick. Oh, and this rug is here because when Sadie, my dog, jumps from the bed down to the floor, she would slide. So I put this here so she doesn't slide. One of the things is because I was living in the truck, I came up with a lot of issues that I wanted to solve, but I couldn't solve them because of the truck. So I was able to solve those with the van. So for instance, dirty laundry is always a problem. So I framed in specifically a lift top dirty clothes hamper. It's pretty basic. I didn't make it attractive. I'm just going to put really smelly clothes in there, so it didn't really make any sense to make it attractive. But it's really easy to fold this bed back. So I can just fold this back, put my dirty clothes in there. When I'm ready to go do my laundry, I can just pull them out, put them in a bag, take them inside. Alright, we'll go ahead and go back to the storage. Okay, so this is the storage area. I have a lot of climbing gear. I'm also an avid archery hunter, and so I wanted to have enough room to have my bow, hunting equipment, all my climbing gear, and then a bunch of camping equipment that I have as well. But most importantly was my crash pads. They're really big. I have 3 of them. I do a lot of bouldering, so having a spot for those was really important. So this framing compartment, or this compartment here, is framed in specifically with the dimensions of all 3 of my crash pads. So my biggest one, you fold it open and you slide it in right next to the wheel well. The other 2 stuff in back here. And then if you come close, I wired in another outlet here, and then I have an LED light system hooked up to that. And then right here, I can just push this button, but it's not on, and then the lights would come on. So I don't have the AC power on the solar generator. But yeah, so all my climbing gear fits in here. If you look down this way, this specific spot I left long, so in the future I can put my skis in there. I don't actually own skis, so that was really far ahead thinking. And then this one is the length of my gun case, if I wanted to put my guns in here at any point. So yeah, pretty basic rear storage, nothing too special. We'll go around to the side real quick. This is the electric receptacle that goes directly into that solar bank. So I can grab my extension cord, pull it out, plug in direct, and don't have to worry about trying to run it out of the door or anything like that. This is a much simpler way of doing it. Other than that, it's just your basic Dodge Charger delivery van. I need to clean everything, but 2 seats. Yeah, diesel engine. It had 156,000 miles on it when I bought it. And we're going to put a whole lot more on it.
I originally had my brother do a video on me, but I can't seem to find it. So I'm in Colorado, and I'm going to show you what the van looks like with all the stuff in it. So obviously the closet's all full, got my clothes in here, all those good things. Propane lines runs down through the wall, connects to the stove. Stove's on, all my food's up here, and I got some food down inside this compartment as well. Back here's the bed. I got my sleeping bags in. It's stuff like that. Got books in the shelf here. And I got my heater running right now. This is the propane heater. It's running off of a can because I haven't finished running the line for that. And then I just have it set right underneath the vent, and then that ventilates any propane. And then right inside that wall right there is where the carbon monoxide alarm is. Over here will be the sink. So I haven't gotten that in yet, but I will eventually. Got a paper towel holder hanging up on the wall, and I got my little wood burning plaque over here. Can't really see it. Drawers here, I just have kitchen drawer, and then in this drawer is just a bunch of junk. Everyone needs a junk drawer. Down here is Sadie's food and a trash can and a first aid kit. And then inside this one's pots, pans, and of course a dinosaur coffee mug, because why not? Got this latch now that keeps this from sliding out when I hit my brakes. And then obviously I've already showed you the table. And down here is my cooler. Got a rope on there to keep that from coming out. And I just got this cheap cooler for now until I can afford a Yeti Tundra 50. We've got clothes inside the closet doors. Clothes up here. And yeah, everything's good to go. Down in here inside the storage I got another heater. This one's electric. And then I also have some water bottles and some thermoses, detergent, and then under here is just some reusable shopping bags and my water container until I can get my sink hooked up. And that's about it. Pretty simple. Sadie's up there sleeping. That's the inside, and I'll take you to the back. Okay, so now we're at the back of the van here, and I've got all my storage in. This is the LED light system, lights up the storage. Just got a bunch of totes. One tote I've got my climbing gear. Tote in the back I've got all my home building tools. And I'll have another tote that's full of camping gear. I also have a full floor jack and jack stand back here. I do all my own mechanic work even when I'm traveling. It's just cheaper that way. And then I have some waders and my fishing equipment, tackle boxes. And then I have like 3 or 4 different packs. And then a bunch of ropes. This propane tank will eventually be mounted onto this rack back here, but I haven't decided how I want to do it, and I'll just do that while I'm out. Then over here is the special crash pad compartment. My little brother's not hitting the crash pads.
A little glare.
Anyway, so I have my big bomb down here, and then I have the small black diamond pad, and then back behind that's my Matolia. So all 3 of those fit in here perfectly. And then up above here, I left this going all the way through the cabinets because my fly rod fits in there, and then my little spin rod also fits in there. And then I have a T-square, carpenter's level, and then I also have a big extendable brush that I can wash the fan with. And that's pretty much the whole setup. I don't really think I need anything else. Everything's perfect now. All right, bye. Okay, so I just wanted to thank some people for helping me out. Obviously, I think my mom, was a big help getting this cushion going. But my grandparents especially did a lot for me. I've been staying at their house here in Enterprise, Alabama, building this. It was really impromptu. Just kind of like fell in my lap, and they said I could stay here and build it in their front yard. So I've literally just completely taken over their front yard for about a month now. As of yesterday, finishing this without the sink in, it took me 28 days total from the day that I bought the van until this. I worked on the van for 16 days straight. These countertops, I'm pretty proud of those. I really wanted to put butcher block in here, but I didn't want to pay for the price, and so I just kind of like wrote it off. But I mentioned it to my grandpa, like, oh, it'd be really cool to put butcher block in there. And he was like, well, why don't you just make it? And I just don't have the time. I want to get north. I don't want to spend all that much time making it. And he was like, well, I could do it, and we could do it super cheap. So these are just stud grade 2x4s from Lowe's, and I think they look incredible. And he used to make furniture. He's really good in a wood shop, and there's a wood shop here on Fort Rucker, the local Army base. So he just glued these together. I gave him the dimensions, and he glued them together with just like your basic wood clamps. And once they were glued together, we took them out to the wood shop and we ran them through a joiner. And the joiner just makes sure that all the edges are perfectly straight. And then after we ran through the joiner, we ran through a planer. And the planer is basically just like a giant push-through sandpaper belt sander. And we pushed them through the planer a bunch of times until they were perfectly flat. And then I brought them home and I sanded them down, got all the joints, put some wood filler in some of the holes, and then I put 4 coats of spray-on high gloss polyurethane on them. But yeah, I mean that was straight out of my grandpa's head. He knew how to do that, and I think they're probably my favorite part of the whole van. And then yeah, thanks to my grandmother for letting me stay in her house for so long and eat all their food. Grandpa really helped me out a lot while I was building the van as well. I mean, I couldn't hold these things over my head by myself. He's 77 years old and came out here and did a lot of help with me. But I also, like, I know how to build homes because I've, over the last couple of years, decided that I wanted to learn more practical knowledge. So I spent a couple months over the last few winters doing some home building with Kevin Grunwald up in Brookings. So thanks, Kevin, for showing me things. And I also worked for Dolly Construction in Sioux Falls, and my good friend Anthony Cookett worked there, and he showed me a lot of stuff. And so I've had I've been really fortunate in getting to learn how to build homes and remodel homes and apartments. So yeah, it kind of all came together in this like awesome fruition of having a new place to live that's significantly better than my truck was. So thanks to all those people, and thanks to the Enterprise Lowe's, I have been living there, and the people there have helped me out a lot. And thanks to Katie, she came over and she stained a lot of these wood panels. She helped me out a lot. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get it all loaded up now, get all my stuff in here, and I'll show you guys another video with all my clothes and my climbing gear and my food and my stove and everything packed into the van. So thanks.